Barcelona are convinced they'll be able to sign a big player by max next year. With that being said, Barcelona is targeting Florian Wirtz for 2025. The club has already made inquiries and gathered information on the player. They also have good relationships with Bayer Leverkusen. Barcelona have been following the developments of Florian Wirtz for a very long time, and Deco in particular really wants him. It would be a priority. Flick also knows the player perfectly. Madrid, City, Bayern, Liverpool, PSG are all linked to this young, great German midfielder. And can you guys believe it? Can you guys believe that now we are in a position where Barcelona is finally being linked to somebody like Florian Wirtz? I have said before in the past 6 months that I do think that Barcelona should go for Musiala, and if not Musiala, Florian Wirtz. Get one of the two great German attacking midfielders, right? Germany is about to go through one of their best periods, and it is going to be taking place within these next 6 to 7 years. And at the heart of Germany's success within these couple of years, Florian Wirtz and Musiala are in it. Barcelona must capitalize off of what Germany is producing. Florian Wirtz can become one of the best midfielders in the world. Back in 2021, Florian Wirtz also admitted that he was a Barcelona fan and that he has followed Barcelona greatly since he was a child. And so yes, this may not mean anything because we have heard Modric or Isco state that they were Barcelona fans when they were younger. But even without these statements of Florian Wirtz, by the summer of 2025, the best club sportingly that would be in position to welcome Florian Wirtz, it is FC Barcelona. It just has to be. With Hansi Flick, the German coach, taking over Barcelona, knowing that we have Gundogan most likely leaving the club, somebody like Florian Wirtz would greatly be welcome. Now I do want to speak about the financial side of this whole operation and then speak about the sporting side of this operation, starting with the financials. Barcelona are about to go into the 1-1 rule this year, right? This summer of 2024. And if anything, it's only going to get better from here. We have to understand the real issue that Barcelona is going through. It is not an income issue. It is not about Barcelona not having actual enough funds in their bank accounts. Barcelona do have the funds, but La Liga has to make us come out of these rules and restrictions so Joan Laporta and Deco can make the signings that they do want. Part of the reason why we were so restricted over the past few years and why La Liga put so many rules on top of us, it is because we had huge fixed salaries and a huge income. But then COVID came in back in 2020 and disrupted the income of Barcelona. And at the same time, these salaries needed to be paid. And what Barcelona ended up doing was they had to postpone many of the payments for these players throughout the next few years. Since 2020, it spread out until 2024 to 2025. Whatever Barcelona are going to be paying in this next year for the players, it is the end of it. It is no longer going to be existing because this money that Barcelona are going to be paying was supposed to be paid 4 years ago. Now we are in the end of it. And that is the reason why La Liga is going to be saying, okay, you don't have these huge salaries to pay anymore. You don't owe these players a huge bag. You can now finally go back into the 1-1 rule. And yes, the Nike deal is also going to help you. Barcelona will officially only invite lower salary contracts and bring in big sponsorship payments like the Nike deal and reopen the Camp Nou that is going to be expanding to 110,000 seats. So Barcelona are about to be in a very different financial situation, and hopefully La Liga can grant us this access. And that is the reason why sources are starting to claim that Barcelona are going to be eyeing to get Florian Wirtz very soon if they really wanted to, and they wanted to go for a big stretch in this summer of 2024. Then maybe yes, they could go for Wirtz, but that would not be the smartest move because of two reasons. Point number one, Wirtz does want to stay at Bayer Leverkusen. He's going to be staying there for another year. And point number two, we're going to be putting all of our money on one player. I think that we need to have more time after this summer to continue to accumulate more funds and more income by the time we get into the summer of 2025. I think that this summer should be a summer where yes, we have a lot of money, but let's spread our money into different players, maybe 3 or 4, like Nico, a brand new CDM, maybe a brand new striker, etc. And so yes, I am extremely optimistic that Barcelona can compete with other clubs next summer for the signing of Florian Wirtz. And so let's just say Barcelona are successful, that it does end up happening. What does that mean? Point number one, it is for sure the end of Gundogan and the end of Lewandowski. If Sergio Roberto does continue, it will be the end for him also. These 3 players will be out the window for sure. Gundogan will no longer be with us. Fermin Lopez will have a bigger role, and we're going to be adjusting to having 3 number 10s, Florian Wirtz, Pedri, and Fermin. That is extremely healthy for a team like Barcelona. We can be very competitive with these group of players, and I'm going to assume that Hansi Flick by next season, he goes for a 3-2-4-1 formation that would allow for Pedri and Florian Wirtz to coexist in the starting 11. The 3-2-1 formation does allow 2 number 10s to be there, with Balde on the left wing and Lamine Yamal on the right wing. Basically, Ideally, those two players would be hugging Florian Wirtz and Pedri, with our striker being Vitor Roque, because hopefully by that time Vitor Roque is up on his feet and scoring a lot of goals, with Lewandowski also leaving. And that is amazing. Yamal, Balde, Pedri, Wirtz, and Vitor Roque as our front five, that will be an insane starting 11. As for our double pivot, most likely it's going to be Gavi and somebody else. I don't know if it's going to be Gavi or Frankie, or Gavi and Kimmich, or Gavi and Zubimendi, Gavi, Rodri, who knows? I can't really predict what Barcelona are going to be doing by that summer of 2025. But what I can for sure tell you guys is that Hansi Flick will find a way for Pedri and Wirtz to coexist. And the only formation that does make sense is the 3-2-4-1 formation. Now, there might be debates that Real Madrid might be an interesting team for Florian Wirtz. He might go there. I don't think so. I think that if you send Wirtz to Real Madrid, knowing that they have Bellingham, Camavinga, Valverde, Tchouaméni, and so forth, even with Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius, there is no room for Florian Wirtz. And Florian Wirtz is not going to want to go to a team where he's going to have to compete for a spot. He wants to start. He wants minutes. He is already getting that at Bayern Leverkusen, and he's only going to want to get better from there. If you bring up Barcelona, you get the starting position. You have a spot there with Pedri, or either with Gavi, or even with Fermin Lopez. Like I have said, you bring in Florian Wirtz, that is the end of Gundogan, that is the end of Lewandowski, and that is definitely the end of potentially Rafinha. And the same thing is going to go for Joao Felix, because he is our big signing. When Barcelona do make this signing, if they do, obviously, and they sign him for 110 to 120 million euros, the world is going to be so confused. And they're going to be like, how did Barcelona even pull this off? We thought Barcelona were broke. And so yes, welcoming this player here is going to be marking a new era, and Barcelona are going to look much different with the new system and with this new player. Yes, of course, I love Rafinha. I have just talked about how Rafinha is going to be an important player for us in the next season, but going into the summer of 2025, after Rafinha's third year, and with Wirtz coming in, it's not even a question. Wirtz gives us much more danger and efficiency in the attack that cannot be replicated. And also by that time, Barcelona's image would greatly change. Barcelona is not going to be in the rebuilding phase. No, Barcelona will be set. Barcelona will be seen as one of the favorites to compete for the Champions League. They're not going to be seen as a dark horse. They're not going to be seen as a surprise. And I expect for Hansi Flick to deliver that for us to really be competitive when he does arrive. There is no excuses. And so looking back at Wirtz's career, in the past 5 seasons, it has been extremely solid. The one that he has just finished, it is world class. But as you can see there, that in his first season, he only scored 1 goal, right? He was very young. I believe that he was only like 17, 18 years old at that time. The next season though, he made a huge jump and he played 38 games and scored 8 goals and provided 7 assists. Going on to the next season, he played 31 games and scored 10 goals and provided 14 assists. He was up and coming. The world was talking about Florian Wirtz on how good he was. But then came the next season where he only played 25 matches. And the reason why the dip in games came is because of that huge injury that he encountered back on March 14th, 2022 that took him out until December 4th, 2022. So he missed the first half of the 2022-2023 season. That is why he only played 25 matches and provided only 4 goals and provided 8 assists. But then came the next season when Xabi Alonso finally took over. He exploited the hell out of this German attacking midfielder. He played 49 matches and provided 18 goals and 19 assists, making Wirtz one of the best attacking midfielders in the world. And so if you give Florian Wirtz a great team surrounding this player with Pedri, with Gavi, with Lamine Yamal, maybe Nico Williams, who knows, Balde, Vitor Roque, you get a monster of a player like him with 18 goals and 19 assists. I even do think that in the next season with Bayer Leverkusen, he can better these numbers. I think that he can easily become a 21 goal and 25 assist type of player if Bayer Leverkusen does improve. And who's gonna not want this player by the next summer in 2025? This also does give me a lot of good feelings about Gavi, because Gavi is going through what Wirtz went through a year ago, which was an ACL injury. Florian Wirtz said, okay, I got a knee injury. I may not go back the same, but who cares? I will work hard and I will go as much as possible, hit trainings extremely hard, go out there and play the best game that I can, come in with a huge mentality, and we'll see what happens. And he did it. He made it. The ACL injury did not destroy his career. Gavi, I feel like, has the exact same mentality, and I think that Gavi will come back the same, just like Florian Wirtz, if not even better. And so let's see what Joan Laporta and Deco do in a few months. It's going to be very, very exciting. Again, I don't see Florian Wirtz coming this summer. Maybe yes, Barcelona may have the financial capacity, but no, it's not smart. We have to strengthen certain areas right now because the weaknesses that this squad does carry requires different signings. So that is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.